He said to them, "Do you bring in a lamp to put it under a bowl or a bed? Instead, don't you put it on its stand? For whatever is hidden is meant to be disclosed, and whatever is concealed is meant to be brought out into the open." Mark chapter 4 verses 21 to 22. Hi fam, welcome to Sacrificial Love. Jesus is the reason for the Christmas season. Therefore, our Christmas special this year is to read the Gospel of Mark, one chapter a day. Today, we are reading Mark chapter 4 and reflecting on it. Check out the previous episodes. Even if you are catching these episodes days, weeks, months, even years later, the Word of God is ever fresh and I encourage you to listen. I will be reading from the World English Bible, but feel free to follow along in whatever accredited Bible version you prefer. The World English Bible sometimes refers to God as Yahweh. Mark chapter 4, the parable of the sower. Again, Jesus began to teach by the lake. The crowd that gathered around him was so large that he got into a boat and sat in it out on the lake, while all the people were along the shore at the water's edge. He taught them many things by parables, and in his teaching said, "Listen, a farmer went out to sow his seed. As he was scattering the seed, some fell along the path, and the birds came and ate it up. Some fell on rocky places, where it did not have much soil. It sprang up quickly because the soil was shallow. But when the sun came up, the plants were scorched, and they withered because they had no root. Other seed fell along thorns, which grew up and choked the plants, so that they did not bear grain. Still, other seed fell on good soil. It came up, grew, and produced a crop, some multiplying 30, some 60, some 100 times." Then Jesus said, "Whoever has ears to hear, let them hear." When he was alone, the 12 and the others around him asked him about the parables. He told them, "The secret of the kingdom of God has been given to you, but to those on the outside, everything is said in parables, so that they may be ever seeing but never perceiving, and ever hearing but never understanding. Otherwise, they might turn and be forgiven." Then Jesus said to them, "Don't you understand this parable? How then will you understand any parable? The farmer sows the word. Some people are like the seed along the path, where the word is sown. As soon as they hear it, Satan comes and takes away the word that was sown in them. Others, like seed sown on rocky places, hear the word and at once receive it with joy. But since they have no root, they only last a short time. When trouble or persecution comes because of the word, they quickly fall away. Still others, like seed sown among the thorns, hear the word, but the worries of this life, the deceitfulness of wealth, and the desire for other things come in and choke the word, making it unfruitful. Others, like seed sown on good soil, hear the word, accept it, and produce a crop, some 30, some 60, some 100 times what was sown. A lamp on a stand. He said to them, "Do you bring in a lamp to put it under a bowl or a bed? Instead, don't you put it on its stand? For whatever is hidden is meant to be disclosed, and whatever is concealed is meant to be brought out into the open. If anyone has ears to hear, let them hear. Consider carefully what you hear," he continued. "With the measure you use, it will be measured to you, and even more. Whoever has will be given more. Whoever does not have, even what they have will be taken from them." The parable of the growing seed. He also said, "This is what the kingdom of God is like. A man scatters seed on the ground, night and day. Whether he sleeps or gets up, the seed sprouts and grows, though he does not know how. All by itself, the soil produces grain, first the stalk, then the head, then the full kernel in the head. As soon as the grain is ripe, He puts the sickle to it because the harvest has come. The parable of the mustard seed. Again he said, "What shall we say the kingdom of God is like? Or what parable shall we use to describe it? It is like a mustard seed, which is the smallest of all seeds on earth. Yet when planted, it grows and becomes the largest of all garden plants, with such big branches that the birds can perch in its shade." With many similar parables, Jesus spoke the word to them as much as they could understand. He did not say anything to them without using a parable. But when he was alone with his own disciples, he explained everything. Jesus calms the storm. That day, when evening came, he said to his disciples, "Let us go over to the other side." Leaving the crowd behind, they took him along just as he was, in the boat. There were also other boats with him. A furious squall came up, and the waves broke over the boat so that it was nearly swamped. Jesus was in the stern, sleeping on a cushion. The disciples woke at him and said to him, "Teacher, don't you care if we drown?" He got up, rebuked the wind, and said to the waves, "Quiet, be still." Then the wind died down, and it was completely calm. He said to his disciples, "Why are you so afraid? Do you still have no faith?" They were terrified and asked each other, "Who is this? Even the wind and the waves obey him." Let's take a few moments to reflect on Mark chapter 4, shall we? I will highlight some few points to note. 1. The purpose of parables. Parables, as used in the teachings of Jesus, serve a vital purpose in conveying deeper spiritual truths to the audience. They are not mere stories but are designed to challenge listeners to reflect on their own lives and beliefs. Through relatable scenarios and vivid imagery, parables engage the audience's imagination and stimulate introspection. Moreover, they act as a tool for unveiling profound spiritual insights that may otherwise be difficult to grasp. By presenting complex ideas through simple narratives, parables cater to a diverse range of audiences, fostering inclusivity and accessibility. Their appeal lies in their ability to transcend time and culture, speaking truth across generations. Furthermore, parables invite personal interpretation, allowing people from various backgrounds to glean individual lessons that resonate with their unique experiences. In essence, the purpose of parables is not merely to relay information, but to provoke thought and inspire transformation in those who seek understanding. 2. The parable of the sower. The parable of the sower found in Mark chapter 4 is a profound metaphor for the human experience. It highlights the importance of cultivating fertile ground within ourselves to receive and nurture spiritual growth. Just as the seeds in the parable fell on different types of soil, representing responses to divine teaching, it reminds us that our hearts can be receptive or resistant to wisdom and truth. Moreover, this parable emphasizes the role of perseverance and resilience in our journey of faith. The seeds that fell on rocky ground or among thorns were hindered from flourishing, illustrating how obstacles and distractions can impede our spiritual development. However, those sown on good soil yielded a bountiful harvest, demonstrating the rewards of steadfast dedication to nurturing our inner garden. This parable invites us to reflect on what kind of soil we are tending within ourselves and encourages us to cultivate receptivity towards spiritual growth despite life's challenges. 3. The mustard seed and yeast. The parables of the mustard seed and yeast in Mark chapter 4 showcase the power of small, seemingly insignificant things to bring about significant change. The image of the tiny mustard seed growing into a large tree reflects the transformative impact of faith and how it can start small yet have a far-reaching influence. Similarly, the parable of the yeast hidden in the dough illustrates how small acts can permeate and transform every aspect of our lives. These parables also invite us to consider the potential for growth within ourselves. Just as a mustard seed holds immense potential for development, we are reminded that even our smallest actions and intentions can lead to mighty outcomes. Furthermore, they serve as a reminder that God's kingdom is not always revealed through grandiose displays, but often emerges from humble beginnings and quiet transformations, inspiring us to find hope in the unexpected places. 4. The lamp on a stand. By talking about a lamp on a stand and letting its light shine, Jesus was telling his followers that they should stand out, shine the light of the gospel to a dark world that desperately needs it. 5. Calming the storm. In the story of Jesus calming the storm in Mark chapter 4, we see a powerful display of his authority over the forces of nature. But perhaps, more importantly, this narrative serves as a metaphor for the storms we face in our own lives. Just as Jesus effortlessly calmed the physical storm, he is also able to bring peace to our inner turmoil and chaos. The story reminds us that no matter how intense our struggles may seem, there is always hope for calm and tranquility amongst the turbulence. One fresh perspective on this passage is to consider the disciples' inner panic as a reflection of our own tendency to become overwhelmed by life's challenges. We often find ourselves feeling helpless and frightened when facing difficulties beyond our control. However, just as Jesus rebuked the wind and waves, he can speak into our circumstances with words of comfort and reassurance. This story encourages us to trust in his power to bring stillness and serenity to even the most tumultuous aspects of our lives. 6. Lessons from Mark chapter 4. Mark chapter 4 offers several valuable lessons for us to ponder. One of the key takeaways is the idea of faith and how it can be tested in the face of adversity. The parable of the sower reminds us to examine the state of our hearts and how we can receive and nurture the word of God. Furthermore, this chapter teaches us about the power of perseverance and patience as exemplified by the growth process of a seed from planting to harvest. Another important lesson from Mark chapter 4 is the concept of spiritual understanding and discernment. Jesus' explanation of the parable highlights the need for deeper insight into God's teachings rather than simply accepting them at face value. This challenges us to seek a deeper connection with God and strive for a more profound understanding of his message. Overall, Mark chapter 4 encourages us to reflect on our faith, perseverance, and spiritual discernment in order to grow and bear fruit in our Christian journey. We will continue from Mark chapter 5 in the next episode. God bless you. Bye.